Adma here. Here's the thing. Sometimes, well, I make these videos to show you some decks and how to win them. Sometimes I make decks that are just crazy. You know, like the goal of this whole channel is to like give you some ideas of how to do stuff right, how to think right, and how to play these straightforward decks right and win. Because I like to win and I hate to lose. But I am willing to lose to do some crazy stuff sometimes, and this is one of those times. This is not like a deck that's going to win all the time, but you might win half the time. And in fact, you might win more than half the time. And in fact, if you're one of those types of people, and there are certainly these types of people in Magic who like to gravely irritate people. Like when people leave, they might be mad that they lost, or they might not care, but sometimes people get super irritated when they lose, and this is one of the decks that will make people especially irritated. This whole deck is all about putting a bunch of artifacts on the board. Now, the whole point is because of this. It says tap 2 untapped artifacts you control, and it deals 1 damage to target creature or player. Well, when people used to play Ghirapur Aether Grid, and it was pretty infrequent, even when Thopters were like the best deck, and they absolutely were the best deck when this game first came out. But now we can make a bunch of clues. There's 2 basic win cons. One of them really just supports the other. And the main win con is just you get enough clues on board, and Ghirapur Aether Grid just absolutely takes over the game. One problem with this deck is that you need quite a bit of artifacts to beat like the decks that have 5 toughness creatures, and like Sorin is a giant loyalty planeswalker. But this deck actually does get to the point where you'll sometimes have 14 artifacts on board, and you can just do 7 damage to Sorin right away. And usually your opponent will have left by then because there's just no way to win. Because of that issue, I also play this Devour in Flames, which just deals 5 damage to target creature or planeswalker. Like sometimes you just need to do 5 damage to something before you actually have enough artifacts. But this is a control deck in the sense that the creatures don't really matter, although they occasionally do. But the main thing is that in a control deck, you do something called turning the corner, meaning you're not doing anything, you're behind, you're staving them off, you're chump blocking, you're doing the best you can, and then you turn the corner, and on that new street, it's all you. And there is a critical mass that is reached with these clues that allows you to drive down that street very fast and hard. Usually it's like 10. Sometimes it's like 14. Basically, Alchemist Vial just smooths out the draws a little bit, and it's an artifact. This is not a card I like, but it's pretty important. Erdwal Illuminator gives you an extra clue. Since you can make clues fairly easily, being able to make an additional clue it starts going crazy. It's also a pretty reasonable blocker on turn 2. Press for answers, once again, like it investigates, it makes a clue, it stalls. Nissa's just in here because like she draws cards and stuff or whatever, finds a land. Here's another reason why like the 5 toughness creatures are tough is like all we have is Kozilek's Return and Radiant Flames as sweepers in the Temur colors of blue, green, and red. So you can't really do tons of damage to things like, I mean, I know Languish is just 1 more toughness, but that's critical. And it's not planar outburst, so you can't really truly sweep. Pia and Kiran Nalaar, you can just sacrifice artifacts sometimes. Like, usually it's Thopters, but we get to sacrifice like our giant surplus of clues. Thopter Spy Network is the other win con, like sometimes you just make a bunch of Thopters and you can use them for Aether Grid if you have to, and you can just attack and draw. The reason why there's Explosive Vegetation is because you need more mana, basically. I mean, you just need to get there. There's 2 of them just in case. It's not that important, but I like it more than just kill spells, as strange as that is. Confirm Suspicions. This is an okay counterspell anyway. At 5 mana, it's really like telegraphable. But if we're just leaving up mana for Aether Grid type stuff anyway, because that's basically all we're doing. You know, we can make like 3 clues. If we have the Illuminator, we get 4 clues out of it. All of a sudden, this becomes a counterspell plus 2 additional damage off Aether Grid. And Chandra's just something in our colors that wins the game by itself, so may as well have it. I don't have Jace or anything because he doesn't really win the game by himself. He's just a drawer and a staller, which is fine, but Nissa I prefer because her Planeswalker side does a lot of the same stuff that Jace does, like draw a card, but her other abilities, particularly the ultimate, but also this 4/4 green elemental helps you actually win the game by itself, and we need a little bit of that. Tireless Tracker obviously is an all-star, but they usually kill it right away because, I mean, people have learned that it's broke. And this is just like a blocker that makes a clue. I mean, I'm going to play some games, and yeah, we'll see. Oh, yeah, I should probably talk about this. This is just a 2 of, but sometimes there's so many clues that occasionally like a Thopter will just get plus 14 damage out of nowhere and win the game. I often will just cast this on my opponent's creatures to make a clue, which seems bad, but usually the downfall of this deck is you don't make clues fast enough, but I don't know. We'll see. I'll play some games. So, like I said, the main thing is not making enough artifacts happen before you get Aether Grid. Sometimes you have Aether Grid right away, but if you don't, making clues ahead of time is usually important either way. It's usually better to make the clues and then surprise them with Aether Grid and start hitting their things, because they can start like playing around it. There does reach a point where all the things in their hand will get killed by Aether Grid immediately, so they get a little bit afraid. This doesn't have green in it, but our whole hand is red-blue, so I'm going to just try it. I mean, like I said, we're just going to see some games, see what happens. I do actually win with this deck a fair deal. Green is definitely the worst color for me to go against, because, you know, there's bigger creatures. This is a decent hand, like, being able to cast Illuminator and then, like, tap down their guy, make 2 clues. Maybe even Spy Network if we're lucky and get another land. Green-black, I don't want to say it's like a good or bad matchup. It can very easily kill the Illuminator and the Pia and Kiran Nalaar if they have Languish. But there does, yeah, Aether Grid, that's pretty good. Yeah, so as long as we can start making clues, we can start just killing all their things. If they play like 3, 4, and 5 toughness creatures a little too fast, that's what I lose to Woodland Bellower, or no, not the Woodland Wanderer. I lose to Woodland Wanderer quite a bit with this deck because it's just like a minimum 5/5, like way too fast. I beat the aggro decks a lot, as long as they don't enchant up their things too quickly, because I'll probably sack in response, which is annoying, but he may not. Yep, that's probably smart. Evolutionary Leap is a pretty bad foil to this deck also. We didn't get our clues. We'll just call that a play mistake. I mean, the thing is I wanted to play something and I didn't want to play Aether Grid right now. But I probably should have. But we're going to try and get this We're going to try and get this Foundry down next turn and start making guys. Or maybe, well, I guess maybe it's better to Pia and Kiran first. And then we can Thopter Spy Network and draw if they don't kill it. I do actually expect this green-black deck to have the high toughness creatures that I'm fearing. Like Sylvan Advocate, for example, is a tough one. That I didn't expect. Some people use this guy as like a loop of some kind that does something, some shenanigans. Let's start with this. Oh, well, I guess he can just keep Evolutionary leaping. I saw a guy use Sanitarium Skeleton fairly effectively one time with Vampiric Rites, which is sacrifice a creature, draw a card, gain a life. And I would, like, yeah, languish. And I just had no chance of losing that game, and I certainly lost that game to the incremental life he gained by sacking that thing and drawing and drawing and drawing. It was pretty insane. It was frightening, even. What I want to do is get this Thopter Spy Network online so I can start drawing, and we'll worry about Aether gridding later. Usually I like them to Reclamation Sage this enchantment rather than this enchantment, because I'm much more likely to win with Aether Grid than I am with Spy Network on average. But I want to note, one of the main reasons why Evolutionary Leap is difficult for this deck is because we can kill all other things all we want, but they just get another guy and another guy and another guy until they have Ulamog or whatever. If I drew a land here, I wonder if it would be better to confirm Suspicions. I feel like probably not, because the only thing he could play that I would hate is like Ulvenwald Hydra. Well, it's not an option anyway because we didn't get it, but Ulvenwald Hydra or Oblivion Sower would be the worst thing for him to play next, I think. I really like this deck. I want it to win very badly all the time because it's so funny. It is rage-inducing to lose to, I'm sure. Let's see. Ulamog, called that. I'll probably leave up this Confirm Suspicions when he's approaching 10 mana. Because even though he'll kill this Thopter Spy Network, we'll get to get his Ulamog, and then we can play this Ghirapur Aether Grid with impunity. I wouldn't be surprised given that, like, it's either going to be Oblivion Sower next or an Evolutionary Leap or something. We know what we're facing now, though. I'm actually quite glad we played this Spy Network first, because it's more threatening in the air, and we kind of just want to kill them even faster. Our opponent's deck is quite slow and grindy. I know they're looking for a Languish in order to restabilize the game. We do not want them to have that Languish at all. Side note about Alchemist Vial, as bad as it is, it actually stops us from losing to Ulamog attacks for a little while. Like, we get to make them take a turn off it. Okay, so he's going to reanimate Ulamog, which is pretty annoying, but we don't get our things exiled, which is nice. I'm going to counterspell that, so I will play nothing this turn. But anybody that discards Ulamog is doing the reanimation strategy. Usually it's necromantic summons, but I've seen a lot of Ever After lately. And people have gotten me pretty good with Ever After, and I'd prefer not to be gotten by it, so I'm going to play it safe this time. I really want to show at least one game with an Aether Grid kill. Most of the time that is how I kill, so if I play 3 games here, you're liable to see it in one of them at least, but... so he gets the Erdwal Illuminator here. I guess that's actually okay, because I don't want to give up on this Confirmed Suspicions. I'm quite afraid of him reanimating this Ulamog, so... In fact, the fact that I paused may have tipped him off to the fact that I have a counter spell and he doesn't want to... He may just be a smart player, but he's actually getting beat right now, so I don't really care. He's just losing on board to our things at this point. 4-turn clock. There actually reaches a point where we can confirm suspicions anyway. Even if we play things. We just need 2 more mana and we can play Aether Grid. And leave up that counter. I think our opponent's a little too dirty with this Evolutionary Leap. I mean, Evolutionary Leap is a very good card against control like this, but I wonder if I would confirm Suspicions of Languish at this point. I think I would. Because now we're just so close to winning. In fact, we can win next turn because we can swing for 4 and then sack 2 artifacts. I think I would confirm Suspicions of Languish and just go ahead and win the game. Oh, he can crack that and block some of our things. It's a little unfortunate. That makes me want to get Aether Grid down in these Alchemist Vials, but I'm not going to do it. Just going to keep attacking, playing it safe. Okay, he can still crack this. Hopefully he'll just play something else. Nope. He's going to block. Yep. That was a good draw for him to play this Thopter land thing. This may seem overly conservative, but I think it's worth it. I don't sacrifice because it's very important to have this counterspell, I think, for any weird shenanigans that may occur. See, now he knows for a 100% fact that I have a counterspell because I've discarded removal and stuff. But that's okay, because we're quite close to winning anyway. And we're playing smart and leaving this counterspell. He's got 7 cards, we got 7 cards, but we're way ahead. He can attack for 7, 8, 9, 10. I think the worst thing he could play is just another one of these Foundry of the Consoles, I think. I mean, we have them dead in a lot of ways, either from Pia and Kiran Nalaar or Aether Grid or whatever. I don't really foresee losing this game. But it is a little disappointing to not have the Aether Grid. But the Aether Grid was going to be bad against his board state with all this land and this Evolutionary Leap. Okay, so that's interesting. Yeah. So he's gonna make a lifelinking guy, but that's okay. Because we attack for 4, and then we can sacrifice Alchemist Vial to make it not block. No. I guess we sacrifice the Thopter that gets blocked by Ormondal. And then we can Aether Grid or something. I'll have to figure it out in a second here. Let's see. So, first things first, we attack for 4. We use 3 of this mana to sacrifice. 3 gets through. He goes to 1. And then... So if we Alchemist Vial, we can get 4 in. So we can Alchemist Vial, sack. I think that's the plan. So we Alchemist Vial. Which I think he just loses to. Make our attack. He sacrifices his things. Actually, he doesn't die. Because he doesn't have to sacrifice this Thopter. He played very smart leaving this Thopter back, I think. We're gonna see. If he sacrifices that Thopter, he is dumb. He didn't. Okay, so this guy is a smart guy. What we're going to do is we're going to sacrifice this. So he takes 2, he goes to 2, and we don't have another land. If we had another land, he would just be dead to rights. But he's close enough to dead to rights. We no longer can beat Languish, so... Actually, we still do okay against Languish, but... not ideal. He goes to combat, we sacrifice Alchemist Vial so he can't block, then we play Alchemist Vial next turn. It should be enough. If he finds Languish with this Elvish Visionary, that is a setback though. I'm not going to deny it. Actually, we untap and we just win, right? Because we sacrifice any artifact. So he needs to find exactly Languish right now. Or he'll leave, probably. He might just leave to sacrificing this thing, but we'll see. Languish would be a huge setback. There's no denying. I would be kind of upset at how unfair that is. Because that would be just the perfect card. I feel like if he had it, he would have just ripped it off. Yeah, that's game. Well played, team. Alright, so that was one game. To show you that it doesn't fail. It's actually something that does win games, despite being very silly. You know, like I said, like, I primary just want to win. Like, I'll test decks, and I'll lose, and I'll get irritated that my thing's not working, or that people are just playing the same spiky decks. Like, everybody's playing these 4 and 5 color Planeswalker things. And that's very annoying, and it upsets me, but I'll still fight through it so that I can make fun, silly stuff like this. And I think that more casual players that don't care as much about winning, but they care about doing silly things, will love stuff like this. So that's kind of why I'm doing it, because I just know that there's people out there that really enjoy silly things, and this is certainly very silly. Not to say that anybody who enjoys this is silly, because I love it. Like, I just want to win with Aether Grid every time. Sometimes I want to win with Aether Grid so much that I think that I don't win in other ways specifically so that I can just Aether Grid them. Because I know how frustrating cards like that are. Like, you've got all your things going on. You've got the best hand in the world, but you can't play anything because Aether Grid just kills them all. And you'll see obscene board states sometimes. Like, I hope you can see one. Like, sometimes I'll have so many artifacts, so many clues on board that the game can't even keep track of what the hell's going on. There's just so many things going on. And I don't think this is going to be one of those games because blue-red usually kills Tireless Tracker pretty quickly. Quickly enough that I'm not going to play it this turn because I want to make sure that I get a clue off it before it dies. Might even be worth playing Nissa first because she's liable to die no matter what against a deck like this. You may just have a counter spell. Yeah, let's play Nissa and let him get his counter spell on. I don't care about her. She's a win condition, but not that important right now. I should have played this island first, in case he plays some hasty shit. Forgotten Creation. Okay, so we might be against some strange... I want to say like a... like a tutelage deck. Because Forgotten Creation goes off with tutelage in a big way. Impulse, impulse, counterspell. I'm gonna counterspell this. It's not as big a threat as something like Chandra, but we may play our own Chandra and just kill his thing. But then again, maybe not. Actually, we will not. We will play... I'm going to play Tireless Tracker. Make a 4th clue. I think the Tireless Tracker is not long for the world, but we'll see. I predict that he'll play a Sphinx's Tutelage or 2 Sphinx's Tutelages this turn, but we'll see. I'm not sure. He left. You know what, we're just going to leave. I don't want to play against the computer. Let's play against somebody real. Should probably edit that game out, but... it seems like a pain in the ass. I mean, I guess if I'm making videos, I should just deal with pains in the ass, but I mean, come on. That would have been a pain in the ass, am I wrong? Sit there and use the trim tool after I talked. Like, I talked for like a good 3.5, 4 minutes there. All that golden knowledge. I don't even remember what I said. I probably said nothing of value. I probably was just bragging about how great I am. This hand's okay. It's got a lot of stuff, but it doesn't have any way to make clues. We don't have a second red for Pia and Kiran Nalaar. Probably just play Alchemist Vial first. Unless we draw a way to clue. Then we'll play this Illuminator. There's not a way to clue. Let's see if we can find a clue thing. Get that clue glue. That's not one of them. That makes me not want to play Illuminator at all. Black, green. Could be anything. Could even be that guy that we played. I think it is. I think it's that gentleman we already demolished. His deck wasn't bad though. It was just a little too grindy and slow. Kinda like us. Jeez. I'm gonna play it this time, because what else are we doing? Nothing. We actually can play Pia and Kiran Nalaar pretty soon, so. But I may want to Radiant. I don't know what I'm doing. Like, this hand has not turned out great, aside from getting the land we need. Like, I just don't really know what I want to do. We don't have a clear plan. Oh, maybe it's not the same guy. Okay, so this is like Abzan. That's usually like Planeswalkers and Green Warden of Marasa and Ulamog and all the stuff I hate. So probably like 4 or 5 board sweepers too, which means that Pia and Kiran Nalaar is not long for this world, with or without Radiant Flames. Yeah, so we're gonna do this and hope that we can confirm suspicion something relevant the next turn. My suspicion is we will not get to. My suspicion is we will be languished or planar outbursted right now. But, I mean, he could just take, you know, 4 damage or 3 damage or 2 damage and try and get more of my things, but I'm not going to play anything else. Explosive Vegetation, that is greedy. So we're just going to leave up confirmed suspicions for whatever likely board wipe he has. We'll start with killing his guy. Yep. So this will be pretty fun. We are way ahead. And if we get to confirm suspicions, we get to do all kinds of little stuff with Aether Grid. We'll be up to 2 damage on this guy, which ain't bad. Like, a 2 free damage is a thing. I predict that it's going to be a planar outburst, though, or something to that effect right now, which I would counter at this point. It's not the best counter. Oh, that? Yeah, let's get that. I actually care more about not letting him have that than the fact that my board may get languished. Yeah, perfectly fine. I expected it. It's just what happens when you ramp. You get to play 2 things. I couldn't let him have that Planeswalker. You could say he goaded me into that, but I actually knew it was a possibility. I don't know if that came off, but it certainly did. So he's got 8 mana. He can't quite Ulamog yet, but he can get our Aether Grid. Let's get these Illuminators out there. For some reason that we draw a thing that's relevant with these, we'll be in business with this Aether Grid for as long as he doesn't exile it, which very well could happen. I mean, you could have as many as, what, 3 things that exile this? Because you could have, I don't know, Anguished Unmaking as well as Ulamog. You could also have Reclamation Sage, which, I mean, that does kill it. We don't have a way to get back from the graveyards. That's as good as exile. That's an Obnixilis. I think he'll plus. Yep. I'm not that interested in killing it. If he Ulamogs like next turn, we're just gonna lose anyway. But I mean, that's not different than any other deck, really. Ulamog just dies all the time, or kills everything all the time. We did not draw anything good, so we're gonna do this. Hope he doesn't have a spot removal, which is almost assured. Hopefully he doesn't have a Pulse of Marasa too. Pulse of Marasa is gonna get us pretty close to dying for sure. The reason I'm attacking him is because he's actually getting the point where +1ing is actually killing him. Yeah, because he'll go to 3 from Aether Grid, and then he'll be at 2 from Obnixilis. So if he doesn't have exactly Ulamog or some way to destroy this Aether Grid, he dies on the upkeep if he pluses this. So it's as good as killing Obnixilis. Like, he can kill one of these, but yeah, okay, so he had it. Groan. If he's smart, he'll get rid of Aether Grid and Alchemist Vial, but he chose that land, so it's fine. Yep, he had it. Of course he did. They all do. He's pretty close to dying anyway, though. This goes to 2. Devour in Flames is not good enough. Let's see if I can kill him right now by drawing something better. Aether Grid. Okay. That does not kill him. I think that the best plan, the best course of action here is to Devour in Flames Obnixilis to save our guy. Because we want to get one more attack in and then Aether Grid. I wonder if it's even worth just taking 10 here. Oh my god, he gains life. Oh god. We had him, but he's going to gain life. Isn't that sad? Isn't that sad that we had him, but now we're going to lose? Yeah, he gains 5 life. Ugh. So sad. Oh, he gains 3. It's based on toughness, not converted mana cost. Okay, well that... Oh god. Oh god. Oh god. Okay. We will sacrifice this. Make it so Ulamog can't attack. We still might have this. Despite the fact that this guy is going to die next turn. I really want to press the advantage right now. That is not a press the advantage. Alright, well, we're in bad shape. That's true. Cracking this clue makes it so we almost can't win. We may have to do it, though, to find a press the advantage. Confront the Unknown. That's actually good. It would have been better if we had that before we cracked that clue. But we get 2 damage right now, so that's fine. We'll do that. Oh, but he has this man land. That's unfortunate. So he'll activate that and gain... God, our opponent's draw is just really unfair. It's really a bummer that happened. Because we're so close to winning. We needed 1 clue. 1 clue and we had him. But now he's going to go to 4. If he has another Rec Sage, it's definitely overdead. Yep, so there's the Illuminator who dies. It's so close. Amazing how close we were to winning. I mean, against just the most absurd odds, too. Yep, he activates that. He goes to 4. We go to 5 out of nowhere. Because this card is not fair. We'll also get to see all the potential win conditions that he gets. And the funny thing is, by the way, that he had this to kill our Illuminator on top of everything. Like, so stupid. So lucky. There's actually no way we can win, I don't think. Really a bummer, because, I mean, you see, this deck works. It works like gangbusters. Alright, so what did he get rid of? Chandra, that would have not won the game. Land certainly wasn't going to win the game. Pretty much have to crack a clue because, well, let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So, okay, so I guess the land may have done it because we can... Yep, we did win. Unless he has a way to kill our thing. Like a... He has to have a sacrifice effect to win. So we may have done it here. Yeah, if he has exactly Celestial Flare, we lose. We're going to continue playing. Just stick it in him. Got him. Told you. Dumb deck. Our deck sucks, and we just won. I'm going to play one more. I don't know how long this video has been going. This deck wins slowly, so it might be too long as it is, but we're going to do it again because by gum, it's fun. And you need to see me lose too, right? And this deck definitely loses to certain things. And we just beat a thing that we probably should have lost to, for that matter. Silly, silly, silly. We're going to keep this. This is not an action hand, but it's got some stuff. If this Tireless Tracker lives one turn, we get to make just... Oh. I mean, obviously it was going to be red or black-red, so this Tireless Tracker will not live, but... Oh god, the most amount of clues ever. Illuminator into Tireless Tracker into Explosive Vegetation would just be amazing. It's not going to happen, though. Yeah, he's a... vampire deck. I mean, Aether Grid would kill this pretty quick, but... Alright, we'll see what he does. I don't think I would block if he attacked, because it would make me think he's got a combat trick. Just make him use his burn spell, which would be probably Fiery Temper, I would guess. Oh, he's probably got Stensia Masquerade. That's probably what this aggro vampires thing is all about. Stensia Masquerade is a very good card, turns out. We're gonna go Alchemist Vial because I want to make sure that I get clues off this Tireless Tracker next turn. Oh, Radiant Flame, so good. So good. I do expect him to Stensia Masquerade here, which is a little unfortunate. Because I don't want to get my own guy. I guess I don't have to get my own guy. I actually can't Radiant Flames until I Explosive Vegetation. That's pretty annoying. There it is. That's the Masquerade. See? Gives his attacking creatures first strike and buffs them. I'm gonna go with this. It's A-okay. So, Tireless Tracker. Forest. Make 2 clues. I'm wondering if it's worth cracking this Alchemist Vial to stop this thing, or if it's just worth chump blocking with this Illuminator. I'm not going to attack because I haven't decided yet. I do want to get the Explosive Vegetation going and find red and kill all his things. And I want him to be no higher than 3. I think I can take one more. Might be greedy. might be greedy. I can chump block next turn. Get a couple extra clues. I should have probably popped this now that I think about it. Fiery Impulse, okay. So we don't get to make the clues we wanted to, after all. I'm going to be making sure 2 Radiant Flames next turn, so as much as I would like to press for advantage, I'm not going to do it. Well, I could Explosive Vegetation and then Alchemist Vial. I could... I just need to play this safe. And it means not making more clues, I think. Alright, so here's the plan. We are going to press the advantage after all. It's going to be press the advantage. Vial and see if we can find a mountain. We did. I'm gonna prevent this thing from attacking. Hopefully he'll just play another vampire. But I am gonna crack one of these alchemist vials so that I can preserve something, I think. Right? I think I don't. Maybe I just block. Radiant Flames is going to kill my guy anyway, so it's okay. He made some extra clues. Now we just need him to play another vampire. Hopefully Heir of Falconwrath, since that's the most annoying one. Actually, the 1/3 is, but... Oh. This has to happen, so it's happening. I have a suspicion that he held back a creature, but I can't be sure. Hopefully it's not a haste creature, so I don't have to crack one of these. A Geese's Blessing? What the hell does that do? Oh, he makes skies. I see. We can actually block that with our hexproof lands, so I'm good to go. Yep. I'd like to get one good counter spell in. That's worth it. We take 5, but whatever. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We can crack one of these and save 2 life. This is what I'm talking about. Like, we're just jerking around. I think the biggest fear right now is Kalitas, because dude is a biggin. You can sacrifice these zombies and get just gigantic. We're definitely looking for an Aether Grid. I don't really want to crack these clues yet until he plays something more threatening. Doesn't mean we won't. Just gonna play it by ear. Try and eat one of his things. Oh, that's a pretty big beast. Incidentally, we can totally kill that thing. 'Cause we have the amount of clues necessary. So what does this text say? It says discard a card, deals damage equal to the discard. So we could just take 5 damage right now, which is pretty bad. Yep. I'm gonna play this guy, I think. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, we're gonna play him. And hope he doesn't do anything foolhardy. Like, kill us with this thing. Like, he has to attack to do this ability. Which means we get to get him. If I confront the unknown, it's definitely going to be on a Lumbering Falls. Let's see, I think we're going to get 5 damage to our face right here. Okay, so he does that. Means we're going to activate. So we get a clue. He does do 5 damage, but he does it to the creature because he thought he was getting in, but he's not. He does 3 to our face, though, I guess. Fiery Temper. I see. So we're going to be at 2, which is pretty bad. I'd like to think he was running out of cards, but he's not. So what does he got here? Nothing. Your giant wolf is dead. See, Fiery Temper, wow, we're so dead. Died right then. Well, I mean, he had the absolute nuts. What can I say? That was absurd. And he was smart. He didn't play into our Radiant Flames, and he repopulated the board and had double Fiery Temper and that dog, which is a mythic. So there it is. That's the deck. It's pretty fun. I guess I'll post the deck list below, which I didn't do the last couple times because I was just experimenting with those decks. But it turns out those decks are good too. If you want to check out my mono-white humans or my blue-white humans with Eldrazi, those are excellent decks. But yeah, Aether Grind, Ghirapur, Aether Grid, make a bunch of things. If we had Aether Grid that game, you saw we had a million clues. It just takes over the game, but that guy had burn spells and it got us. So there it is. You saw some wins, you saw some losses, and there's the deck. Hope you enjoy having some fun and maybe enraging people.